Welcome to a new episode of No Man's Sky. We're pretty early into February, and January. I don't know where it went because it's not like it felt like it was going by quickly, but apparently it did because it's gone. And I want to know where it went off to. I want to know where it went because it went by way too fast. Like it feels honestly like we should be maybe at like January 20th or something in my mind. Um, but I mean, we're a month into 2018. That's incredible, right? Like, in 2018, do you remember when like 2010 and 2015 and like, 2020, which, yeah, obviously I know hasn't happened yet, but it's like 2 years away. It's like around the corner. But do you remember in these years, they were the future. Like, they were, when I say the future, I don't mean like in the future, I mean the future. I mean, like, you think of all the sci-fis where either like, robots did all our jobs for us, or else, we were already in space, or, we had like hoverboards and flying cars and that kind of crap. It was the future, and now it's happened. It's like, oh, it's only the present. That sucks, you know. Um, just gonna take a sip of water here. Anyway, I didn't get as many videos uploaded as I would have liked in January, which is fine, I guess, because part of it was there's like a number of things. One, I got some Civilization 6 videos uploaded, which is good because that's from a backlog from like forever ago. This is from a backlog. This footage here is from a backlog from forever ago, but not as long ago. That Civilization 6 footage backlog I have is basically from like when the game first came out. That's to put it in perspective of how old it is. And I just, for whatever reason, never got around to uploading. I focused probably a lot more on getting the No Man's Sky videos up, and I don't know, just I don't know what happened, but I just never got it all uploaded. But there were some issues with the footage, so it had to be like the narration had to be redone basically. But I got a couple episodes of that uploaded, and the thing with doing those is the editing for that is a bit annoying because like for No Man's Sky footage, I can just sort of skim through, and because there's a lot of parts that I cut out, so I can just sort of skim through it or watch it all sped up because I'm cutting out large chunks. Whereas with the Civilization 6 footage, I'm just watching for like points where like I walked away, so I'm like in the pause screen for too long because I walked away or something like that. So I'd rather watch that just at 1x speed. So which I don't mind. Like it's just tedious and takes up a lot more time, and therefore less videos can get done that way. Um, but I'll just watch it at 1x speed, and I can do something else at the same time. Like I could either practice guitar and or practice weights, or not practice but do weights. I can do other stuff at the same time, so it's not the end of the world. But I use Windows Movie Maker because it's probably still one of the best free options, and that kept glitching out whenever I was trying to do the Civilization 6 videos and get them up, and I eventually got it to work, but that took forever too. And the thing is, the solution I found involved. Well, basically, what happened was every time I would try to do a cut, it would like delete everything. But I could do one cut and it would work. But then there was a second cut, would delete everything. So what I had to do is I had to like do one cut, export it, export the video, and then reload it into Windows Movie Maker, and then just repeat that process until any cuts I made were made. And so that just means that it takes a lot longer because it takes a fair amount of time for Windows Movie Maker to export the video and then to load it back in. That takes a fair amount of time, so it just sort of slows things down and reduces the amount of videos I can make. Stuff like that, sort of, and also I did do a fair amount of editing work to make sure that I could put videos out anyways, so to get them ready to get put out, so stuff like that. And also over the last week of January, I was working on one video in specific, and I put a lot of work, especially into like the research and writing down an outline and what I was going to talk about for it. But it was the video was called something like 1 month into 2018, what I think of Windows 10, and it's just sort of an overview of how the operating system has progressed. Like what are some of the new features of it, what are some of the new features on the insider builds that aren't generally released to the public yet. And do I think is when it was released, obviously, it wasn't necessarily where it could have been. I think it was acceptable quality. Other people would debate that statement, but I think pretty much we're all in agreement that there would still work to be done, which is the sort of concept of Windows as a service, I guess. But basically, has it come far enough? That kind of thing. And basically just talking about like like especially the interface and how it is using that, and the improvements it made to that, to making it look consistent and making it feel like it's one system and not the weird amalgamation of two systems, which is kind of what like Windows 8.1 felt like, especially. So, that took up a lot of times, and I sort of prioritize that one where it's like, I'm not going to do any work on any other videos until I get this one done. And that got done like on the 31st, because I wanted it to be like an end of the month video. So that got done on the 31st. Pretty happy with it. I mean, I put a lot of work into it, and I realized that no one's going to watch it, but I think this is a solid video, so I'm happy with it. Anyway, and hopefully, I mean, if like one person watches it and enjoys it, then that's pretty much good enough for me. As far as I care, I mean, I hope it's helpful to at least someone. I don't care if it's really popular. I'd like to, like, I do hope though that it is helpful to at least someone. That would be good. This little guy with his horns is a complete jerk and a bully, and not nice at all. And I know some people are against cruelty to animals, but this little guy had it coming, I'll tell you right now. Yeah, so at Walmart where I work, I guess I had it's kind of funny. This customer had some sort of product that they were showing me and then asked a question about, and this guy came up and he asks if he could have this cart that I had that was empty, and I say sure, whatever, I can get another one. And she walks off. I didn't even notice, and he goes, "Some people have no patience." And so I turn around and I'm like, okay, she's walking away, but she was going into the aisle, and so I followed her. It's because like at this point I didn't even know what was really happening, so I just sort of followed her, and because I figured like maybe she was going in the aisle to show me something or something like that. I don't know. She throws a product on the back, like on the shelf, like literally throws it, and then storms off, and she goes, "Well, that was a rude interruption," and she leaves. And I felt like going, "Lady, if you calm down, I can still help you." But I figured since she left, she wasn't my problem anymore, and I figured I might as well leave it that way. But isn't that so weird? Like, and all she had to do was wait 2 seconds. But since she, and she would have, I like even while the guy was talking, I was still, helping her out and whatever. But I mean, and there's no point where I was more than like a foot away from her, anyways. But yeah, like if she just sort of like didn't leave, you know, she would have, whatever her question is, I could have answered it, but she walked away without knowing what she wanted to know, and it was just the weirdest thing to me. Um, yeah, it's weird like that sometimes, but um, another thing that happened is, oh, we have these Kodak machines. I almost call them Kodiak, which is weird. These Kodak machines, basically, they're for pictures. So this woman wanted to do 2,000 pictures, and that should be okay because, more pictures equals more money. Here's the thing: there's a maximum of 500. So if there was no maximum, or if like the maximum was like 3,000 or something, if it was above the amount of pictures she wanted to do, she could have done a select all and printed all her pictures. But since there's a maximum of 500, it means she has to manually select 500, do an order, and then manually select the next 500. And I thought that was sort of strange. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, I am so tempted to start bashing my head against this counter. Like, I'm gonna kill somebody. Like, whoever thought this was a great idea, I'm gonna find them and wring their neck. You know what I mean? It was awful. Um, one customer though I had recently was great. She tried to tip me $10, and I was dumbfounded. I was like, what? $10? Like, because customers have tried to tip me before, but normally it's like a couple dollars. It's like $5. So it's like whatever. She had to give me $10, and I just helped her with some photos, and then I helped her find an album. Actually, that's not true. I helped her find an album after she tried to tip me. But man, she was so nice, and I told her I was sort of, I mean, like first I told her like obviously I can't take it because I'll lose my job because we're not allowed to take tips because, you know, the stuff I did like that, that's just part of the service, and you know, it's not really nice to take advantage of people's goodwill or ignorance sometimes, because sometimes they'll think that what you do isn't part of the service, and then therefore they have to pay extra for it. And then also the problem with taking tips is, you know, if you get to the point where it's like an expected gratuity, where it's like, you know, I'm not going to provide you as good of service unless you tip me, which is kind of like this whole, you know, net neutrality thing, right? Like you have to pay the right people, you know, enough money to get the service you want, or that is like, you know, so that whatever website you're on, you know, that it'll go fast enough and it'll go at like, you know, an acceptable speed. Um, you know, but anyways, um, I don't think it's very ethical to take tips anyways, so even if it was allowed, I wouldn't. But, you know, I just told her, I said, look, when I get a customer like you who's nice and patient and whatever, you know, I mean, that's a good enough tip for me. And, you know, and she said, yeah, because some customers are rude, right? I'm like, oh yeah, some customers are definitely very rude. Counter to that, you know, some associates are very rude. So it goes both ways. Um, and she said, well, I guess I was lucky to have you, right? And, you know, and she definitely meant it, but I don't know how to respond to that, so I just kind of laughed at that. But, you know, because I kind of wanted to say, hey, you don't know the half of it, you know, which wouldn't have been a false statement on my end. I know a couple of associates that she might not want it to have gotten, I'll tell you right now. One last story I'll leave off with, just to sort of fill the space with words. Um, my brother works at Subway, and this is kind of a weird story. And if you didn't think people are idiots, well, then you're probably never met anybody, but you will now. Um, Basically, this homeless guy, and I won't go into all the details, um, so that I actually have time to tell the full story. But this homeless guy orders some subs, and basically he saved up a bunch of money, and it was like the only food he was going to eat, because if you don't have a home, I guess it's hard to go buy groceries and put them in the fridge. But like he was saving up money to actually get an apartment, so whatever. And anyhow, so he buys some subs. Then he goes to take a smoke. So he leaves them on the table, and you know he asks them first, and so whatever. So some like I don't know, some teenagers come in and are like, "Hey man, are these subs for free?" And then the coworker my brother was in with was like, "No, they're not for free. Buy something or get out." You know, but like, what kind of a question is that? You see subs on a table and you ask if they're free? Yeah, yeah, they're free. That's how a business works, pal. Congratulations. Look, it's not Costco, okay? It's not Costco, um, or any other place that does that. I don't know besides Costco. Anyways, then some other people came in and literally they started staring on the clerk and staring at the sub, staring at the clerk, and they just took it and ran. Anyways, they got caught, and apparently they're going to get fined $400. You know, so it's a sort of a case of, oh, hope that was worth it. Um, but I mean, like, why would you steal subs? That's like, oh, like petty crimes like that. I don't understand. You know, because it's not worth the effort, and you know, if you get caught, the fine you're gonna pay is, you know, so high that why would you do it? And you know, the thing is, I had to throw those subs out, and make the guy new ones, because you can't, like, you know, you don't know what they did to them. You know, you have no idea, and you know, so it's safest just to throw it out, because maybe they stole it to, like, I don't know, to purposely get caught, but they were gonna put, like, I don't know, like pins in it or something, and so then he pricks his mouth. You know, which is not exactly a great plan, but people are idiots, and these people specifically, and this is, I live in one of the sketchiest towns. Like, there's always, like, there's always some drug-related crime. Like, this is such a drugged-out town. But anyways, I think that's kind of funny if you like to laugh at people's stupidity. This is sort of an example of that. Um, you know, um, but anyways, this video is almost over. I just wanted to say though, like, my analytics, if I could speak, my analytics are doing pretty well for me lately. I think ever since like October, they've been doing really well. So basically, thank you to anyone and everyone who have you know, increased my analytics, either by watching longer, leaving a like, whatever. Um, but since this video is almost over, I'll thank you if you watched and made it this far, and yeah, and just enjoy the rest of your day.